Jessica Sees the World asks a couple of questions, not a couple, but a lot. What do you like and dislike about Korea? How do you look so young? How do you maintain yourself? What's your favorite exercise routine? Okay, I'll start with the last one. My favorite exercise routine is just jogging. I like to do a little bit of running. I do about 20 minutes, a couple times a week. That's on a good week. Sometimes once a week, sometimes none a week. Sometimes I do a little bit of cycling, but I really like to enjoy my life. So I don't really like being stuck inside somewhere just pulling weights and stuff. So I actually prefer going outdoors and going for walks with people because that just makes me feel like I'm not like exercising for the sake of exercising, but it's just happening naturally as I enjoy this moment. So he comes home from work, we have dinner, and a lot of times we're like, do you want to go for a walk? And then we just go for a walk around the block. We live near the Han River, and so sometimes we walk across the bridge. In winter, not as much, but in the spring and summer seasons and autumn, we do a lot and take Ellie for walks as well, and Scarlett these days too. How do I look so young and how do I maintain myself? Well, I do get that comment a lot because I'm a small person. I think it makes you look like a kid if you're small. So that kind of adds to it. My parents are both small statured people. It's funny though, guys, because in Australia, I thought it was just because I'm an Asian that everyone thought I was like really young looking, and also because I'm short and small. But the funny thing is, like, after moving to Korea, even in Korea, they're like, what? I thought you were in high school. You know what? I think one main thing that keeps you young is being a happy person. I really felt that this time, especially because the past year, I'm going to get into it later, but I've been quite on a down, quite a low point in my life where I didn't really find joy in stuff. And unfortunately, that's how it's been. But once I found that joy again, and I'm like just happy about things and bubbly and just seeing things in a simple way and just being happy, I feel like I look younger as well. It's a weird thing. So yes, it's a little tip from me, be happy. What do you like and dislike most about Korea? Where do I begin? So many things to talk about here. What I like about Korea, the convenience, like literally just walk out the door of my house, there'll probably be like a McDonald's, Starbucks, E-Mart, train station, buses, so many people, so many cars. But then what I dislike about that is that it's so crowded. I feel like there's no space, especially nature. I'm such a nature-loving person, and we have to literally like drive like 1 or 2 hours out to really see some really nice nature. I like that Korean nature is actually really nice. If you do go out, it's not ugly. Like, I feel like the Korean outback and landscape is actually so much cuter and romantic and pretty than Aussie outback. Like, Aussie outback is like crazy, huge cliffs. It's like very huge and majestic, but it kind of like overwhelms you sometimes. But Korea is like more cozy and not as scary and in your face. It's more subtle and pretty. The trees are smaller, things are a bit cleaner. So yeah, there's a little bit of a like and dislike thing of both. But if I was to compare Australian outback with Korean outback, that's what I'd say. I like Korean outback better. Not to say that I don't miss the beaches. I really dislike that Korea doesn't have many beaches and that people don't swim even if there are beaches. That's so sad to me. I like about Koreans that there's this warmth about the culture. It can be kind of hard to like knock someone's shell and really become close with somebody. So that's one thing that I dislike about Korea, that it's hard to actually get to that place of like full trust because everyone is very individualistic and independent because there's so many people, there's so much competition. So you're born into this society where you're constantly compared with each other and stuff. So it just, the system kind of manufactures that kind of culture. But then what I like about it is that there is so much warmth about the people, really. It feels like once you get close to someone, it's almost like you are family. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's what I like about Korea. It's called Jong in Korean. I don't know how to explain it in English. You can be a little bit crazier and weirder and nerdier and not be judged for it, like you can do it together. And I also really like that there is a lot to see, a lot to do, a lot of really nice food. On the other hand, there's a lot of really bad food too, like it can be really dirty sometimes if you don't choose the right place. People are a little bit like kind of in your face and can be a little bit brisker and harsher and direct because of so many people basically being jam-packed into this one little Seoul city. And by the way, I'm just talking about Seoul. Everything outside of Seoul might be different, so I'm just talking about Seoul or like the big cities in Korea. And yeah, because there are just so many people, that kind of common sense etiquette and stuff might not really be in place, especially because of the wars and the history of Korea developing so quickly. I really don't blame Korea for this. I see a lot of hate towards Korea sometimes. When you understand the history of Korea, which it took me a while to get as well, but once I understood this, I was able to see it on a bigger scale and see the country with more love. But even just Korea going through the past 50, 60 years, and the entire history of Korea was full of so many wars and invasions and everyone trying to kill this little nation. Everyone had to keep like continuing to develop and bring it back up again to speed. So I do feel sorry for Korea in a way, not getting political or anything, but just the people of Korea. They've been through so much. It was hard for that education to get up to standard like straight after World War II. It has been a big climb here, and so I understand when I see the older generation being a little bit, in our eyes, a little bit ruder or not as like etiquetted. I'm able to understand that and appreciate the older generation for what they actually had to go through to get us even to survive to this day. So there are things that I really dislike about Korea, but then that's on my own personal selfish level. Like I really don't like how there is lack of etiquette sometimes and people are ruder and things like that. Then on the other hand, I'm able to understand that and kind of in my own way justify it as Korea is, according to the rankings, a developed country financially, economically, but maybe still in the mindset-wise, the older generation that has just grown up from that war period, maybe it's still a developing country in some aspects. So being able to see it through those eyes, I was able to not get as hurt and disappointed, just having to adjust. I think it's the fact that I'm like a country girl from Sydney. I didn't ever think that I was a country girl, thought I was a city girl. But Sydney is so country compared to a city like New York or Seoul, so I really had to adjust a lot to that. Heyoni asks, living out your faith as a YouTuber or someone in the public sphere. So I know a lot of you guys are not really Christians and not really religious, so I hope that this doesn't offend you or rub you the wrong way, but I'm just being myself and sharing my own story here. So if you don't want to listen, it's completely up to you guys, but this is for those who want to know. You can skip ahead if this isn't really something that appeals to you. Being someone who believes in God, and you know, maybe one day if you like, I will do a video where I actually talk to you guys about my testimony, about how I actually met God. I wasn't born into the faith, I wasn't born as a Christian. I actually met God on my own because I was like asking God, if He's real, please show me that you're real. And so it's been a journey ever since I was like about 10 years old or so. But yeah, if you guys would like me to do a testimony video, please let me know in the comments below. So skipping ahead of that, as someone who has faith, of course, in the public sphere, you'll always kind of be the minority and you'll have kind of different values. You know, everyone has different values, and obviously if you have a different faith from somebody else, you'll have different values. And I've experienced that both in like Australian, just like teaching job, accounting job, and also in Korea. But as a YouTuber, honestly, I don't know what to say to this question. There's just so much I could talk about. If there were more specific questions, it would really help me to open up. But yeah, it's not an easy road, definitely. And in Korea, I've personally, I have no bitterness as well or resentment. I'm just answering the question and opening up about my experiences. I'll definitely say I have been ostracized a lot because of the faith. I've had to really pray a lot through the way that I approach things and the way that I approach other YouTubers, and even live out how I live out my faith. You know, sometimes it's not about actually talking about God explicitly, but it's just about maintaining your own relationship with Him constantly and letting God do His thing naturally in His own timing. So for me, it's been a lot of like seeking God for wisdom, especially when, you know, this YouTube industry sometimes is very not moral. Sometimes it can be very immoral. There can be a lot of smoke and mirror and a lot of, I would say in a way, deceit. You know, some things are not really exactly as it appears to be. And if you see the behind the scenes, sometimes you're able to see that, you know, it's easy to mislead people for your own personal gain. And I'm not going to say that I am perfect and I'm not a human being, but as someone who has to be accountable to God for my actions and how I like make decisions and things, and therefore I'm like a lot more purposeful, I'd say, than someone who can really just do whatever they want. Yeah, I'd say the path is a little bit different and it's a little bit more unique, and you do definitely have to pave your own way to do things, and learn to say yes and no to the right things. Pray a lot and ask God for wisdom, because every situation is different. You can't have the answer to everything in one go. But also just completely trust in Him and continue to hold your post. And that's one thing that I've learnt recently. Have I finished answering the question yet? I'm not sure if I answered it properly, but yeah, sorry if I'm like rambling. I really don't know how to answer this huge question. I feel like I need to be live with you guys and actually talk to you guys for a while about this. But yeah, it definitely is not easy, but it is not hard if God is with you. And if you stay in the Word, if you stay focused on your mission in life, then you will not be intimidated and you will not be made to back down by the darkness. If there's anyone out there who is going through a similar thing of holding on to your faith in the midst of any persecution or maybe roles or secular positions which don't allow you to really have that faith, I just want to encourage you that we're all in this together and that God sees everything and God is not to be fooled with, and therefore don't let intimidation overtake your eternal destiny and your eternal goal, your eternal values, I'd say. You know, don't give up, and ask God for wisdom. That's like the number one thing I think we need as people of faith, to really ask God for wisdom, because there's no one answer that you can give to someone for a solution for their life. You need to like figure out your own way, but God is with you and He will never forsake you, He will never leave you, and He'll never let you down. So I just want to encourage you guys about that. And I hope that I didn't ramble too much. I wanted to film it later when I really overcame it. I really do feel like I have come out of this period of my life and I want to share it with you guys.